Can you trust Jon Prosser? Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. If you haven't been here before, thanks for stopping by. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. I hope you'll do it all again. I did a Can You Trust on Front Page Tech a couple of years ago. Links and the rest of the Can You Trust stuff is down in the description below if you want to watch those Can You Trust videos of yesteryear. Now, I haven't done too many Can You Trust videos in a while, but now I think it's time to bring it on back. You know, I've always looked for a chance to bring it back, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is it. Now, if you follow tech, you'll know that over the past little while, leaking has become more and more of a thing, especially when it comes to smartphones, and particularly when it comes to Apple. I mean, Apple just in general. Now, back in the day when John and I first became friends, Front Page Tech was a funny, irreverent news channel with tech stuff. It always delivered a few tech news stories and some good t-shirts and some funny sayings, and it was a ton of fun. It still is a ton of fun when they put episodes out. But in the past year or so, something happened for John, or to John. Over the past year or so, John has had inside info on just about every Apple product that has come out or hasn't come out, and he's been right on a lot of that stuff. Right now, the site Apple Track, if you don't know that site and you want to know which leakers are, more often correct, etc., Apple Track has John listed as the number 7 Apple leaker out there based on the percentage of times he's been right, which is 78.2% at this moment. I assume that's been updated for the most recent leak that seemed to come back and bite John and a few other Apple leakers in the hind parts. There was this big rumor going around, and John was one of the most staunch supporters of this rumor, and that Apple was going to have an event on March 23rd. John puts a lot of stock in being right about stuff. He puts his neck on the line with the info that comes his way, and he and I have talked about this a lot. I mean, actually, we've talked about it quite a bit. It's really important to him, and he stakes a lot of his reputation on it. And this is where some of the problems with being a leaker come in. No leaker is going to be right 100% of the time. It's just not possible, really. And in the case of this Apple event leak, it almost seemed like it was set up to redden the faces of a few leakers, maybe to ferret out somebody who was giving away information. I don't know. Some, including John, went hard on this leak. John to the point where he swore up and down that if he was wrong about the date of this event, he would shave his eyebrows off. And here's the thing, John is one of the only Apple leakers out there who shows his face on a regular basis. Many are just names on Twitter accounts and that kind of thing, so they don't have really personal or professional things at stake for being right all the time. But John and a few others are known to us. We know who they are. The anonymity must be comforting for those folks who don't show their faces when the time comes and leaks don't pan out. But for John, he's not only known, but he's a face on YouTube, and he's been that way for a long time. Front Page Tech has logged over 1,000 episodes. He had a couple of 100,000 subs on Front Page Tech before he ever even started being a leaker. And suffice it to say that the stakes are higher for John and for Front Page Tech. John and Brian, the guys who make Front Page Tech, they make their living doing Front Page Tech on YouTube. So going for the leaks was a pretty significant risk and continues to be a significant risk for those guys to do. I mean, they've gone that way. It was a choice, and it's worked out for them. They've got a ton of new views. They've got a ton of new subs. The profile of the channel and John's profile personally have risen. People know his name. People know the channel. And the leaks have really brought a lot of new people to Front Page Tech. I think the Jon Prosser of a few years ago wouldn't have handled being wrong very well. I say that as a friend, really, honestly, someone who's had those long conversations with him about credibility and your reputation and that kind of thing. The nature of leaking is really fraught with unknowns. What if your sources dry up? What if your sources get caught and fired? I mean, just last week, Apple filed suit against a former employee for leaking Apple info, a lot of Apple info, apparently, to the press. There's a lot of potential risk that goes beyond just sort of having your reputation on the line. So this whole March 23rd event, or I shave my eyebrows thing, was actually a bigger deal than I think most people will understand for John. He's a very proud guy. He's also a very funny guy. I mean, the question here was, would he follow through with the eyebrow shaving if he was in fact wrong about this date? So we find out the date is wrong. If he didn't follow through, then he'd lose credibility, especially if he, made excuses or tried to be wishy-washy about it and didn't do it. If he follows through, though, well, I mean, he'd have to shave his eyebrows off and own up in public to this situation. It's not an easy place to be, trust me. But today was the day, and guess what? He went on Front Page Tech, he delivered the show, and then he shaved his eyebrows off.
I can't even see you. Okay.
Oh my God!
Is it bad? Baby, is it bad? Should I go over it again? Can you tell it's gone? Is it?
Let me get real with you here. Yeah, there are two parts to building and maintaining credibility. Part one is being right and building that reputation for yourself. And Jon has spent a lot of time doing that. But part two is probably the harder part. You have to face the consequences of being wrong, and how you act after that really matters. Because it's impossible to be right all the time. Credibility isn't just the percentage of times you've been right about something. Trustworthiness isn't always being right. Trustworthiness is something else. Trustworthiness comes when you're wrong and you admit you're wrong and you do it with grace, or at least a sense of humor and some clippers, I guess. So, can you trust Jon Prosser? As a leaker, I mean, he's been right a lot of times, but leakers are only as good as their information. What matters is, can you trust Jon Prosser, the guy who puts his face on YouTube no matter whether he's right or not? No one wants to watch somebody dodge and weave around their missteps and sort of make excuses. That's when trust starts to fail. That's when credibility dies. But today, Jon Prosser showed us that he's a man of his word when it comes to what matters most, person to person, host of the show to the audience. That's trustworthiness. That's credibility. Credibility is both of those things, being right and being right when it comes to being wrong. We know now that Jon Prosser is going to back up that right or wrong, and that matters a whole lot more to us, his audience, than whether or not he knows when the new iPhone might come out or what color it's going to be, or if AirTags will ever be a thing. Hey folks, I just wanted to say here at the end, thank you very much for being here, and I really do appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing to the channel. We've got some merchandise down below. We've got memberships. We've got all kinds of different stuff. Be a part of the Painfully Honest community. Help us make these videos and grow this channel, because it really means a lot to me that there's a great community here. Once again, thanks so much for being here. My name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.